And you got me that way, and I'm wondering if I came on too strong. Walking side by side and backwards down the stairs, all wrong.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blue Collar Business Podcast. We're back for another episode. This, I believe, is episode 20.
Really?
20, Grant.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Right.
big milestone. So today, we're going to be talking about Grant Frazee. His dog is over here being really loud, but more importantly, Grant is a micro business owner. And we're going to talk about just his story, where he's from, how he got started, how it's going, and where he wants to go.
All right.
So we'll get into that. Before we get into our interview of Grant, we're going to start our usual first segment of the show with what we've been working on the last couple weeks. So what have you been working on, Grant?
I have been out of town. I've been in Payson, Arizona, working at a cabin.
How far is that for people that aren't familiar with Phoenix?
It's about, well, this cabin, Payson's like an hour and a half from like the East Valley where I'm at.
Really? It took you that long?
Well, and then the cabin is like 2 hours, like a 2-hour drive.
Oh, yeah. It's a little
It's
outside
like,
of Payson.
It's like 30 miles east of Payson.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's
so-
still a Payson address, right? It's just
It
like
is, yeah.
not really near downtown.
No, it's not super close. I have to like drive into Home Depot every once in a while and go pick up something. And it's like a 60-mile round trip. So it's not.
Whoa!
it's not
Just to
super
go to
close.
Home Depot?
Yeah,
Talk about cutting down on time at Home Depot.
I know this. I've made 2 trips out there. This will be my third. I have to go back this week to finish up. But yeah, last trip I made no trips out there because this just took so long.
Yeah.
I just bought everything ahead of time.
I feel like if I was working and I realized that I forgot something I needed to buy and I had to go back to Home Depot, I'd just throw in the towel.
Yeah, just quit.
Well, how's it going? You've been out there for a while.
Yeah, it's been, almost, I guess a little bit less than like 2 full weeks of work.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So the first time I was mostly doing, I was like covering these 2 walls and like this paneling and like kind of framing it out a little bit.
Okay.
And then like cutting out a little window space.
Wait, like not in the bathroom? I thought you were working just in the bathrooms.
No, that's like the larger job. This first time I couldn't really work on the showers because I didn't have all the stuff I needed.
Oh.
So I just did that, which it didn't take that long.
Okay, I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I just ripped out the old one was the first trip I made. And then this last trip I was like actually putting in the tile, and I'm just doing like a base, like a pre-made fiberglass base.
For like the bottom pan?
For the bottom, yeah. And then tiling all the walls and putting in like a door.
Are both of the showers you're doing like subway tile?
It's like a small subway tile for the first one. I actually don't know what the other one will be.
Oh, you haven't started it yet?
No, I haven't started that one yet.
Woo.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get them both done this last trip.
And how long are you planning on staying out there? I'm just wondering what your estimate is.
I think
for when
it'll
you're
be
gonna
like 10 days.
10 days.
I hope
really?
it's not that long. but
Wow.
It probably will be. It's just like slow going out there. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It also takes forever just to like get all my tools from my car. It's like not a very short walk. I mean, it's not that far,
Yeah.
but it's just like it just takes a long time to get everything set up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway,
Well,
it's
I
going
feel
okay.
bad because originally when we bid this job, it was like me and you were going to do it together.
Yeah.
And I bailed on you. So I'm
Yeah,
kind of
it's
feeling
just
some
me.
guilt right now.
No, it's all right.
Sorry about that.
It's kind of fun out there. There's like no cell service or anything, no internet. So
Yeah, it's kind of quiet. I've been to that cabin a
It's
few
nice
times.
and quiet,
It's very
yeah.
quiet and it's enjoyable.
it's also cool. Like you don't really see all the stars in the city. It's cool seeing all the stars.
Yeah. And you can see like the rim from the cabin as well.
Yeah.
It's a really cool view.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So at least it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice atmosphere. It's just kind of got a lot of work to do this last trip. So hopefully I can get it done.
You're going to be out there for 10 days.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, let's see. Today is Monday. You're leaving today.
Hopefully. I think I might have to leave tomorrow because I still haven't figured out what tile I'm going to use, and I got to get all that stuff figured out.
Oh, you're going to buy all that?
Because I got to buy it ahead of time because I don't know if there's only one Home Depot there, so
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to have everything.
That makes sense.
Anyway,
So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So next Thursday you'll be done?
hopefully I'm back before Christmas.
Woo! Before Christmas. Wow. That's pessimism right there.
It should be all right. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. Some tiling
Stuff. This
some
is
showers.
like your fourth out of the valley project.
Yeah, it's kind
You're
of
becoming like a travel.
traveling handyman.
Yeah.
It's been kind of an interesting year. Yeah.
You should make that your thing.
Oh, it'd be super fun. I don't really know how I could make. I don't know how I found this kind of market, so I don't know how I could really find more in that way.
There's a market for it. I've been asked by
But it would be
multiple people
fun.
to do projects on their house, and like one was in Texas, another one was in New Mexico.
Really,
So there's a market for it.
I mean, it would be fun. I did actually have someone I worked for last year. Their like in-laws were asking me to do work for them in Oregon, but I just
Whoa.
they're asking about it happening this summer, but I just didn't have time. But there's more. I guess I could make this a
You
thing.
could
but-
that's your job. All right. Well, I've been working on a few things. Work's been a little slow lately.
Okay,
It's been so slow, I almost threw in the towel.
really? Oh no!
Dude, I almost gave up on the whole handyman career last week.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like, well, for me, I've never been stressed about work in my life, but I would just had a baby. And so it's like a
Yeah.
new level of like, I need to make money.
And now
Otherwise,
it's
we can't
Christmas
pay
time
our
and-
mortgage. We can't pay our bills. And like just looking at my bank account and our savings, just like, so it's just slowly just
Yeah.
like deteriorating. And yeah, it's really put a fire under me to be like, I got to make this work or I got to find a new career.
Okay.
But I did not throw in the towel.
That's good.
I just considered it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what made me realize I want to keep doing this is one, like I really enjoy it, and two is like even though it's my third year doing this, it's my first year doing it full time. And
Okay.
like this is me now starting to like really focus on it. And I think anything, especially starting a business, like it's going to be slow in the beginning. And especially service businesses where I'd say for most people in the trades, if they have their own small business, they would probably tell you that the majority of their work comes from people referring you. And that takes time to
Yeah.
build. Like it doesn't happen overnight where you have like a base of clients that trust you and will refer you to others. So I was just realizing it's okay if it's a little slow right now and it's a little stressful right now. I trust that in the future it will become a little more consistent because I just wasn't getting enough people contacting me about work, and I was like out there trying to put business cards on people's doors, and that wasn't working, and so I was just stressing out about it. But I've had a few more leads recently, so it made me feel a little better about it. But yeah, it was a stressful couple weeks.
Well, I got plenty of work in Payson if you want to join in for a
That's
weekend.
That's true. Yeah, I guess if I'm not busy this week, I'll just drive up there.
Yeah.
See what we got. Yeah, this week, today I'm going to fix a faucet, like a hose bib. I'm a little annoyed about it, but I think it'll be good because I'm not like annoyed. It's just, it was unfortunate. I went actually to fix it last week. The problem was just the handle of the hose had fallen off, like just the knob that you turn.
Yeah.
And so they just wanted me to put a new knob on because they lost the older one. I'm like, oh, that'll be easy. I'll just switch it out. And I bought like 10 from Home Depot just to make sure I could get one that matched.
Right.
None of them did, so I just had to like make one work. And like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like a great fit, and so it was a little bit leaky when I was done. But I don't know if it leaked before, like, and the client didn't remember either.
Okay.
So I was like, so it was like, it wasn't like an extreme leak, like spraying water everywhere. It was just like you open the hose bib and it's like leaking a bit.
Oh, when it's open.
When it's open.
Yeah.
Not like when it's not open, like that would be bad, but just when you open it. And so I don't know if it was leaking before. They told me it's leaking and it bothers them. And so I'm like, okay, like I want to make them happy. Like that's like my goal in my business. I want to make like that. You're not going to build a business unless you make your clients happy. So I'm like, whatever you want, like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even complaining about it. I'm just saying like, I just didn't know that a little bit leak would bother them. So now I don't really know what else to do other than just replace the whole hose bib.
Yeah,
so
I was just thinking that. I think you're just going to have to.
So that's what I'm doing today. But I'm actually kind of excited about it because I've never done that before.
Okay.
And assuming it goes well, I think it'll be a good learning experience of replacing a
You're
hose
going to have to solder it, you think?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I have like a torch, and that's it. So I have to get some soldering silver, whatever they call that, and some flux.
Yeah, get the flux that comes with like solder in it. That stuff
Wait,
works
what?
the best. There's like two kinds of solder.
Yeah.
Or flux. And get the flux that comes with like solder in it.
Oh, good to know.
It's just really helpful if you make any mistakes. It kind of covers.
Okay.
And it works just as well in my experience. Not that I've done that much soldering, but it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Because, I mean, it's, especially like hose bibs, it doesn't seem that hard. Like I haven't done.
It's not too bad.
I've done a little bit of soldering with copper, but I've never done a hose bib. But it seems pretty straightforward. So I think it would be nice if I could add that onto my repertoire of things I can do. So, you know, I'm not obviously not making any money on this because I already billed them for it last time I went to fix it. So it's going to be a complete wash today. But I'll at least hopefully learn something, unless it's a disaster and I have to call you and have you fix my mess. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
It shouldn't be that.
Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. So yeah, and then other than that, I've been just doing some small stuff. I installed a TV for somebody, like was an 80-inch TV.
Ooh, big
hung
one.
that boy, and then put the wires behind the wall. So
Nice.
I did that, and a couple other things that I'm forgetting. Yeah, it's been decent. I've had a little more work, so a little less stress. Also, had way too much coffee this morning. I feel like I've been, ever since I had a kid, I've just been having coffee every day. That's something I've been trying to tell myself not to do. I don't want to have coffee every day. I don't want to be an addict.
Yeah.
But I've given up on that.
It's happened.
Every day I'm like, wow, I'm really tired. I have some coffee. And then like right now I feel crazy. Like, you know, you have too much coffee, you feel like a sociopath. You're just like jittery and crazy and want to like punch things.
Not really, but like, I don't get to that level, but I definitely notice sometimes when I'm a little wired.
Maybe you're too addicted and it doesn't have an effect on you anymore.
I don't think so. I don't have it that often.
Huh. Well, I guess we're just different then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I have coffee every time we record a podcast just so I can have some energy.
Last time you were like, I'm way out of it. I had too much coffee.
Did I say that last time too?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to stop mentioning this. This is not good content, I'm sure. But yeah.
It's pretty common for people to get wired on the coffee. So
I kind of love it. Like coffee is a mainstream drug.
it's the most popular drug
But
in the
it's
world.
a drug. And it's like, it really has an effect on me and I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like I'm feeling absolutely just dead, tired, and I have coffee and I'm like an insane person and it's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. That's my final question. I have a final question for you that's related to that.
Okay.
Okay, before we do our interview, we're already 14 minutes in, but
Yeah.
I still want to do our interview with you. Before we start, I was playing around with some ideas for the podcast about doing some additional segments, because right now we just have the final question and like the beginning where we talk about what we've been working on.
Right.
Here's a segment I want to throw out there, and it's called We're Talking About How Terrible Yelp Is.
Okay.
You're familiar with Yelp, right? The review service.
I never use it. I just use if I ever make a review or something, I do it on Google. But
Well, it's terrible, and I feel like
Yelp
a lot
is
of
like
people.
Apple, right? Isn't that that's like the preset for like Apple phones?
Wait, is it really?
I think so, right? Or
Oh,
like,
I have no idea.
if I ever write a review like, and I just find it on my map, it's just always Google reviews. But I think for Apple, it's Yelp.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't really use Yelp.
Well, that's good to know, actually. Well, anyway, Yelp's not that bad. I've heard from some like trades people that it works for them. I'm just talking about it from like the contractor side, not from the like consumer side. Like on the consumer side, I actually have used Yelp many times, and I think it actually is helpful.
Yeah.
But on the contractor tradesman side, I think people really don't like it because I've heard this from multiple people who've tried to like use Yelp as a way to get business, and they're just like scam artists. Well, they do this thing where they offer you like $300 credit for ad revenue, and then they'll get you stuck on like this subscription thing. This happened to me.
Okay.
And then you look at your bank account and it's like $500 been taken from Yelp and zero business is coming your way. It was infuriating. And I've heard this from multiple people who
Really?
this happened to. Yeah. So I just thought it would be, for people that don't know that Yelp is terrible, I thought it'd be informative. And
No, you mentioned that you hate Yelp, but you didn't really explain it exactly. So
yeah, I just here's what I want to do. I want to read you some reviews. So Yelp has Google reviews, like because people hate Yelp so much that they'll look on Google like the headquarters of Yelp, and then they'll leave a Google review of Yelp, and it's like 1 stars across the board.
Really?
Here, let me read you some.
Yelp. Yeah, I never really used Yelp, but I've definitely heard of it.
Oh, hold on. Oh, I can't find it now. Oh, no. Oh, Grant, fill the dead air for me. Do you have anything interesting to talk about? This is probably the worst segment ever that anyone's ever come up with.
I was just thinking, I'm like, unless you have some other ideas, I'm like, I don't really know how long this whole Yelp segment
So one episode
gonna
segment.
last every episode, but
Darn it, I can't find it. Maybe they took their business off of Google because they got such
it
bad
was so
reviews.
poorly reviewed.
Well, that's a real bummer. I wanted to read some reviews.
Oh,
Well, we will close
Just
the worst segment ever.
just
come up
another
with,
reason they hate Yelp.
and we'll move on to your interview.
Okay, bummer. I wanted to hear some of those.
Okay, Grant. So, you are 27 years old.
Yeah,
You run what would you call it? Handyman contractor business?
marginally profitable handyman business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, because everybody starts somewhere,
Yeah.
and maybe when you're 45, you'll have this incredible, profitable, more than marginally profitable business,
That'd be awesome.
and people will be like, "How did you start? Where'd you come from, Grant?"
Yeah.
So tell us
And
how
I'll
it all
have
started.
documented here.
Where were you born? How are you? Where did you get to where you are now?
Wow. You want me to start like the beginning?
Start at your first memory.
I don't know. I can't even think of that, but nothing comes to mind there. But I do remember like growing up, like I was always like trying to build stuff. Like our parents' house like had a bunch of just random like closets and rooms. So I
Yeah.
had my own room that I called the craft room.
I remember that.
I just built just garbage like literally every day out of just like popsicle sticks.
Yeah, I remember.
I tried to make like a piano, and all it did was just hit wood against wood and make clicking noises.
I think Dad still has that.
Well, he still has like this basket I made to hold his keys and stuff. He like still has that, but it's just popsicle sticks. Anyway, so I pretty much always just done work with my hands, just random
Yeah.
building stuff. So I always knew I was like, I don't know, not that I was like good at it back then, but like it's something
But it's something you enjoyed, and
I enjoyed doing.
you
Yeah.
liked the problem solving of it, I feel like.
Yeah. So, eventually I was like doing some work for a guy who was a handyman, who was like a contractor. And I worked for him over a summer. And this is like no experience, in the kind of
Was
trades.
it high school, college?
It was like, like maybe my last year of high school, or maybe like right after I graduated. I don't remember.
And he is a contractor.
Yeah, he's still doing it. Anyway, so I worked for him, and he taught me a good amount. Pretty much doing the same stuff I do now, just
Nice.
random handyman work. Anyway, so I worked with him for a summer, and then I just went to college and wasn't really doing much work.
Mm.
And then, well, that was just like one semester. And then the semester after that, I got contacted by these two women who were trying to flip houses that I knew. And they knew that I had worked for this guy and that I was somewhat handy, I guess, from this. And I don't know, I've done some other like random builds or something. So they knew that I, might be able to help out.
Yeah.
So I started with their first house that they got and just did some random like wood projects and other random things. I just did some like baseboard and and I tried to do some plumbing for the first time, which did not go well.
What went wrong?
I just was terrible at it. I didn't know what I was doing. And
Like it was leaky after you were done?
yeah. No, it was just I shouldn't have tried, but I was like the rest of the house was going well. I was like, I'll give this a shot.
Nice.
It went very poorly, so they had to hire an actual plumber. And
At least you
fixed
got
it
to
up.
try.
Yeah. So anyway, that's like how I got started doing, like knowing this kind of business is
That's where you acquired your skills.
is doing these house flipping. So I started with that first one, and then they just kept doing more houses, and it was
How
like
many years did you do that?
I think it was a full 4 years and a little bit more.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Yeah. So
And
did
I
that.
worked with Grant for a couple years at least, doing house flipping.
Yeah.
I was there every day.
And also setting up my own business. I never really have even now set up like a legitimate business. But,
Sure.
But like in between some houses, like might have a month or two in between projects. Most of the time it was like one after another, but every once in a while there'd be a break. So I'm like, all right, I got to find work during this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just, some other people had known that I did this type of work and they contacted me.
So you weren't even asking people, like they found you.
I've never really done any kind of marketing yet. So
That's great. That's
yeah.
cool.
Well, it's great. I still like, I kind of want to be where you're at, where you like just work for all kinds of people. I feel like I still even work for a lot of people that are like kind of family friends or friends of friends.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
You just want to grow your clientele.
Yeah. I would just like to, have a larger network, I guess.
Well, I started that too, but they just given me other people's names, and then those people have their own circle.
Right.
So it's kind of
I've definitely
grown from that.
got some business that way where it's like, I don't know these people, but
Yeah.
it was like, friends of friends. But yeah, so I just kind of started doing my own thing in between house flipping, and then house flipping just kind of came to an end, and then eventually I just set up my own business and started doing it by myself.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When was that? About a year ago?
Yeah, last July. I mostly started it. I wasn't really totally sure what I was going to do, and then I had like a neighbor of one of the women that I did the house flipping for.
Mhm.
I like redid her whole house, not her whole house, but like the main area of her house.
Oh, yeah, I
did-
remember that. That took you a long time.
Yeah, I did like almost everything in her
Yeah.
like kitchen and living room area except for the flooring, which was tile, which I don't really do that much tile because it was a big space.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. I actually did do all her flooring too. I forgot. It was like
Really?
it was a floating flooring. I forget. Yeah.
Oh, like vinyl or laminate?
Yeah, it was
That
like
kind
a
of
luxury vinyl plank, I think they call it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are a little more manageable
Yeah.
to install.
And it was a lot of flooring, so I did
Yeah.
all of that.
Wait, pause real quick.
Yeah.
Tangent. So I got contacted today about someone who wanted me to do flooring. It was 1,500 square feet. And I'm like, I can't do that. That's too much for me. If
Seems like a lot. Yeah.
that was a job like that, would you want to do it with me?
Well, it depends what kind of flooring.
She said,
LVP stuff is
one second.
pretty easy. I like doing that.
She said, I wasn't actually familiar with what it was. She says, hello, I'm working on houses. I would love to have compound flooring done. What is that?
I have no idea.
Okay. I looked it up and I didn't know what it was either.
Is it like it sounds like that like a commercial kind of tile, or it's like a plastic almost. I don't know if that's what it is, but it's like
Okay.
plastic tiles that you glue to the floor.
Well, that was also kind of why I said no to it, because I'm like, clearly I'm not an expert if I don't even know what the product is.
I don't really know what that is. Yeah.
Anyway, I just was wondering.
I only do some flooring. That LVP stuff's really easy to do. So
Because every now and then there's like something will come my way where somebody wants me to do something, but like it's going to take me 2 months. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. But
Right.
maybe if I had help, I could do it. All right. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
oh yeah, so I did this lady's house. I did a lot of the work there, and then her neighbor like saw it and really liked the work, so they contacted me.
Another neighbor.
Yeah,
Look
and,
at that. See, that's how your network grows.
Yeah, so they got in contact with me, and this was like my first big job of like once I started doing my own thing. I for like the first couple months I did some smaller stuff. I don't even remember what they were, but it was just like really small projects.
Can I take another tangent real quick?
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's worth mentioning that, like, that's why your business was growing, as people just saw your work. Like, you did good work.
Yes.
So I think we talk a lot about how, like, anybody, if we can do this, anybody can do this. And it's like, it's not that hard to start a business. And that's true. But like, you have to give people a really good product. Like, your product was advertising for you because you did such a good job.
Yeah.
And like, that's for me, what I want to do is I want people to be so happy with what I've done that they're happy to tell other people about it. And it's not like I have to go like convincing people to have me work for them. It's just like, they know that I do a good job, and that's all they're interested in. So yeah, that's like on the show we talk about how, yeah, it's not that hard to start a business, and we want people to be motivated to do it, but you still need to be able to have you have to have a skill that you're really good at,
It's
really
also
proficient at.
It's not that hard
you
to
can
start
do
a
really
business
well
if you're good at it.
if you have the skills.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to be good at something.
Right.
I think our angle on the show is, if you have those skills, if you are good at something, but you're not quite as proficient at the business side, like, just go for it, because that's what we did, and it's still working, even though we're not exactly businessmen. We're kind of learning as we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you still have to have the skills. Okay, anyway, back to what you're saying. Yes, so this was a third neighbor now who has contacted you.
A third? No, it was just a first neighbor, I guess.
Oh, okay. So there
Yeah.
was your old boss.
And
Neighbor.
then their neighbor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so and there was like a really large project. I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
I think it ended up taking me like almost 3 months.
Wow.
It shouldn't
Just
have taken,
you.
It shouldn't have taken that
You didn't
long.
hire anybody?
No, it was just me.
Dang.
Which they were very nice and patient with me, because I know it took longer than they were expecting.
3
or I
months?
was expecting. Yeah. I think I told them
Wow.
like 12 weeks at the beginning, and then it took like twice that.
Good night.
Or I don't know.
12 weeks is 3 months.
Yeah. Or I think like maybe 9 weeks or something. It was
Okay.
it was a little bit more. Anyway.
Maybe you told him it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it took longer than it should have. But yeah, so that was like a really good, and it made me a good amount of money and kind of got things going. But I already had bought, like, after the house flipping business had ended, I bought like all the tools I used.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
So
another thing I wanted.
That was
Like,
something
where'd
I
you get your
had,
stuff?
before I even got going. I just had all these tools, which was a lot of tools.
Yeah.
So, that was an easy thing to get started with because I already owned all these things.
True. Yeah, that's fair because it would be harder for someone to start a business if they don't have all the tools. Because there is kind of a lot of tools when you're doing trades, depending on what you're doing. But most of them require somewhat expensive tools.
And it was also great. Well, just the house flipping business, I just learned so much. I got to try so many different things, and also just got to try out different tools and figure out what worked and what didn't work. And so I kind of refined my, tools, and like that takes some time too.
Yeah, that's cool. So, where do you see yourself going from here? Maybe 5 years from now. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, I don't know about 5 years. I haven't thought that far in the future. But,
that's all right.
I think what you were saying, if it was last show, I don't remember, but it was like you just want to focus on just refining your current business as is.
Yeah.
Which I need to do.
Yeah.
Just basic stuff. I really need to set up a website, and I've been better about like taking before and after photos, which is something I wish I did more of. Just for a website eventually. But I feel like I got a good amount now. So just small business stuff like that I still need to do.
Yeah.
And that would help me get more clients, and more clients would just mean I could pick out more higher earning clients, and
sure.
Yeah, just make my business more efficient so I can make more money. I feel like we do a lot of the same stuff, but the work I do, at least most of it, is like really kind of like fine carpentry stuff. I feel like I take way longer than you would.
Yeah, but you do for a reason. Like,
yeah,
it's stuff where if you're not taking a long time, it's not going to look good.
Yeah, I think I also really need to just find a way to like get faster at things.
Okay.
I'm still very slow at just.
Why? I mean, some people appreciate. I think some people appreciate that you are slow because you're so like attentive to details.
Yes, I definitely am. And it, any project I take on, it usually ends up looking great.
Yes,
and that's why it takes so long.
Wait, real quick. Sorry, third tangent. I was at Brent and Allison's house, our brother and sister-in-law, and it was at a Bible study, and there was a lady there who I've worked for before, and she saw your work in their living room because Grant did this huge project where he built custom cabinets and like a butcher block countertop on like for their entertainment wall, sort of, and then there was shiplap. Like it's really intricate and like it looks amazing. And this lady who I'd worked for was like, "Did you do this?" Like, because she was considering doing something like this herself, and I'm like, "No, I didn't do this. This is my brother's work." She's like, "Oh, it's really impressive." I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh,
so there's people out there admiring your work all the time.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a good thing I got going is I do have a good attention to detail.
Yeah,
but I don't know how exactly, but I got to figure out how to speed things up a bit. Mm-hmm. But other than that, things are going okay. I know there's things I can do to make things more efficient and just make more money.
Here's a thought that just came to my head right now.
Yeah.
What if we combine forces?
Okay.
Because my logo looks more like you than it does me.
That's true.
Even though they're twins, but my logo has short hair and I have long hair.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because maybe if we get enough leads jointly, because we kind of do different things, and maybe we want to do. Maybe you want to change that. Maybe you're not happy with what you're doing, but I think you are.
No, I'm
happy with what I'm doing because I do a lot of like handyman stuff where my day to day is usually like installing fans or fixing disposals or switching out door handles, like just small stuff like that. And I love that kind of stuff. Like I'm really fast at it and I enjoy it. Whereas I think you like the cool, bigger, not necessarily bigger projects, but just more fine detail.
Yeah, I think I've said like finished carpentry is like what I like doing.
But I don't like doing that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So in that way, we kind of, even if we were under one business, we would end up doing different things.
But we could kind of pick and choose.
I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, that actually is a good idea.
Because then we could kind of combine, because it does take some capital to advertise and like
Right.
I haven't started my website yet. I'm planning on starting up I want it to be a really professional website that people can find me online, because right now nobody has ever found me. Like I've never gotten I've never gotten a lead from somebody online.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to make that happen at some point. But I think I need a good website that people can look at for reference to see like pictures of what I've done in the past, see reviews. So I need to do that. That takes some capital, and maybe we can combine our efforts. I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah.
Brainstorming on the air.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how important a website would be because I don't have one. I don't know how important it would be yet, but I feel like that's something I really need to get going, because I actually did have someone ask about they're asking about my business, and I was like, oh, I do handyman work, and they were interested.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what's your website? And I didn't have one.
Yeah.
They were interested, but they wanted to see some like proof of, this is the work I've done.
Well,
I didn't have that for them, so they never contacted me. So it was like,
probably
that was only one example, but it'd be definitely useful to have.
that's happened to me probably a dozen times where someone asked me, hey, can you build these shelves for me? And I'm like, sure. And then they asked me, can you show me like some other work that you've done? And I've just sent them pictures from my phone of other stuff that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably another dozen people who would have done that, but they don't want to go to the effort of texting me and asking me for pictures. They would rather just find somebody else who has that already on a web page that they can see. So I'm sure I've lost clients that I didn't even know about who didn't want to put in the effort of, because that takes work to reach out to somebody and like kind of do your own review process
For sure.
of a contractor. Whereas most other people, I've already done that for you by curating a website with pictures and reviews, which I don't have and you don't have.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
we'll have to think about that more.
But yeah, that's how things are now, and what I'm looking to do in the near future.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Sounds like a good plan. So, final question.
All right.
So, I mentioned coffee and how I get really wired. I usually utilize coffee when I'm undermotivated.
Yeah.
So, there's some days when you're on a job and you just feel like a sloth. And how do you fix that? How do you kill the sloth? Do you like listen to music that gets you going? Do you drink coffee?
I'll usually like eat lunch. If I start feeling bad, I'm like, I gotta go eat something.
Lunch is the hack.
Yeah, and that usually helps. You just always feel better after you eat something.
Yeah.
At least I do. It's just like, I don't know, just got more energy, I guess. And that usually helps. Because usually I bring like a thermos of coffee if I am working.
That's right. You say you don't drink a lot of coffee, but you drink a whole thermos of coffee.
Yeah, I was
That's a
just
lot.
thinking that. 'Cause I was like, what was the last big project I had where I had a lot of coffee? I was like, oh yeah, I drink it like almost every day. So yeah. I pretty much had a thermos full of coffee every single day I worked there. It's just like, I feel like I don't drink it that much because like if I'm not working, I don't have coffee. But yeah, if I'm working, I have coffee. So I do drink a lot of coffee.
That's what I thought.
Work most days.
So coffee is just underlying.
Yeah,
helping you.
well, it's just like I'll drink coffee. I'm done with that like by like early afternoon at the latest. So
okay.
Afternoon, yeah, I usually have a late lunch, and that usually kind of gets me through the rest of the day.
Does coffee keep you up at night? Like my wife can't have coffee past like 4 p.m.
I have noticed
sleep.
that recently that it does.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really have it late that often, but the few times I have, I'm like, oh, this is why I can't go to sleep.
Interesting.
It just seems like, that's the reason, because I just had coffee and I usually don't.
Well, I don't experience that. Okay. And what like, do you ever listen to music to like kind of get you motivated?
I do feel like if I am really feeling slothful or whatever, it's like I got to change up what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Because I feel like recently I've been listening to a lot of books, and sometimes, some books are better than others. And it's like, all right, I got to change this up. So I listen to like some funny comedy podcast or something, and that usually gets my spirits up a little bit.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Okay.
I'll try to listen to something a little more entertaining, and that like makes
Right.
me feel a little more motivated for whatever reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just like it just makes me feel a little better.
Or sometimes I'll listen to Eric Church.
Oh yeah, some
I'm-
music.
Yeah, that makes me a little more pumped about my job.
Nice.
Well, that wraps up our final segment in this episode, number 20.
All right.
Going forward, everybody, so we have hopefully a couple interviews lined up. It's kind of the direction I'd like to take the podcast, is to start me and Grant do a little bit more interviewing other business owners, because you hear from us all the time. This is 20 episodes just about us and our businesses. We'd like to hear from other people who've started their businesses and hear what their experience has been like and what's been hard, what's been easy.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So that would be cool. I got at least one lined up, hopefully a couple more in the future. And check out, we were just on another podcast last week.
Yes, we were.
The
Just came out.
Handyman Pros radio show.
Yeah.
Larry and John interviewed us. So check that out if you want. I think the episode that they released on it is literally just called like Grant and Garrett Frazee and the Blue Collar Business Podcast.
Yeah, I think
so
it just says Grant and Garrett.
should be able to find it if you search their show. So yeah, check us out in a couple weeks on Monday, and we'll be here.
Yeah. Oh, and if if you only listen to the audio of this podcast, that show will be the first time you see our faces.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Handyman Pros, they have a video, at least on Spotify and on YouTube. So
Yeah.
we are not that advanced yet. Maybe one day. All right, we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
And you got me